Hello, my beautiful Barca babies. Welcome back to the Undefeated channel. Welcome, culés around the world, to this live episode where we will be going over Barcelona's narrow win over Osasuna, just squeaking 3 points away from home. We're going to go over the match stats, give a little analysis, but we will be focusing on the good, the bad, the Barca, and we'll be giving out our mustache man of the match, all here live on today's episode. If you're just finding us for the first time, welcome, my friend. We are culés from around the world coming to get words. I stutter sometimes. Coming together to talk about Barcelona, catch up with each other. Usually we have a little cup of caffeine. We get our day going in a positive way while we chat the Barcelona news, have some good conversation with each other. That is what we do here on this channel. Welcome. If you want to be part of that conversation, subscribe so you can participate in the chat, ask your questions, give your comments, connect with your fellow culés. This is your invitation to do so. If you've been here, if you're enjoying the content, show some love and support, drop a like as we get things going. And with all that out of the way, let's kick things off the right way, my friends.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuning in to the Undefeated Mustache John.
All right. Hello and welcome. As I said, I'll be turning to the chat in just a few moments. I love to catch up with you all. I want to get your reaction to the match. If you're watching this on replay, let me know down in the comments. Who was your man of the match? What's your overall thoughts now that we've gotten our new signings debuted? What was your reaction to the match? That's going to be the first question for the chat when we turn and keep the conversation going. But before we do that, let's go ahead and turn off my intro so we don't make any mistakes there. And let's do a little match overview for Osasuna 1 to Barcelona's 2. This was a tight one. Jules Koundé getting a goal in stoppage time in the first half. Corner kick sent in from Gundogan. Jules Koundé heading it in past the keeper, putting Barcelona up 1-0. Avila with a golazo from outside the box, the left foot curler. Almost felt like it was in slow motion. Ter Stegen, feet in cement, didn't even move, didn't make a motion for it. Couldn't even make an attempt. Beats the big German goalkeeper. Ties things up 1-1. We fight back. We do our best. We do what we can. We get some fresh legs. We get some fresh faces on the pitch. Lewandowski draws a pretty controversial penalty. We'll be talking about that on the good, the bad, the Barca. Controversial penalty, but he sinks it. Absolutely sinks it. There were some other controversial calls. Again, we will get into those during the good, the bad, the Barca analysis, but to go over some more of the stats here from the match, Barcelona 9 shots, 4 on target. Not a lot. Not a lot when you got 70% of possession. We got to do more with that. That was a theme that kept coming up. More on that in just a few moments. 647 passes compared to the 259 from Osasuna. 90% passing accuracy. That is something that I love. I point this out pretty much every post-match episode. The passing accuracy is one of those key indicators. When it drops below 90, we're not playing Barcelona football. We're not having our way of things, and it shows. So we got that 90%. We get the victory. 16 fouls from Barcelona compared to Osasuna's 6. I like the intensity. I like the aggressiveness, but it can get a little sloppy. All right, Gavi, talking to you, my friend. 3 yellow cards for Barcelona. One of those was Frankie de Jong late in the match trying to influence the referee. It happens. We'll take that. 2 offside, 5 corners. And again, Jules Koundé scoring off of the corner in the first half stoppage time. You love it. Lewandowski polishing us off. 2-1 win. Barcelona heading into the international break in 3rd. I'm okay with this. Drop some points in our first match. It happens. We're tied on points with Girona. Who? What? Yes, Girona in 2nd place. Real Madrid, of course, going 4 for 4 to start the season. Freaking Jude Bellingham, man. My goodness. Whew. Well, you know what I mean? Anyway, Real Madrid sitting top of the table, 2 points above us. If we just keep within an arm's reach, puncher's distance, 1 match, we got El Clasico coming up in October. I'm feeling good about things. So there's the overview. I want to turn to the chat. I want to get the conversation going. I want to know what your thoughts are on this match. And before I turn, say my hellos, keep the conversation going. No, we'll do that next. Let me get your reactions before I continue on with this. And then we will be getting into the good, the bad, the Barça. We'll be giving out our awards, including the Mustache Man of the Match for Barcelona's 2-1 win. So before that happens, turn into the chat. If you're watching this on replay, let me know down in the comments. Give me your thoughts. Give me your opinions on this win over Osasuna. How are we feeling about things? Presso, hello, sir. Welcome. Ahmed, hello. Harry, of course, is with us. Smiley Gaming. Forza Barça. Welcome, my friends. Good to have you in here. Scrolling through to see who else we got. I know the Stash Squad is trickling in here. Again, drop a like if you're enjoying the content. Don't be shy to share it, okay? And if you're watching on TikTok, swipe over, click the link in the bio. That'll get you over to where you need to be. And of course, this episode is sponsored by BarcaMerch.com. Link is in the chat. You can get 10% off using Stash Squad 10 at discount. All the best Barcelona merch. It's there for you. Jibs, hello and welcome. Tan, hello. Ange is with us as well. Tan saying Joao Cancelo play really positive. Amen to that. That was something that I noted. Seemed composed, seemed comfortable getting 30 minutes off the bench for Barcelona. Harry says, I'm disappointed Raphinha only got 10 minutes. He and Cancelo looked good already. I was shocked that Raphinha did not get the start and XAVI kept with Lamine Yamal and didn't go even with a Ferran Torres. I mean, I'm a fan of Lamine. I appreciate what XAVI's doing, giving the youngster some time. He is crafty, I'll tell you, clever on the ball. But is he going to be more productive than Raphinha? I don't know. I don't know about that. So that's a talking point for sure. I will say I was surprised that Raphinha was not in the starting 11. Presso says, why isn't there a good, bad, and Barça? There is. We're going to be doing it. It's right here, baby. We're going over the good, the bad, the Barça. Don't you worry. And I did make some progress finally on doing new graphics. They won't be live for this one. We're going old school, good, bad, Barça. But I'm going to have a different layout, a different backdrop for the good, the bad, the Barça. And then Mustache Man of the Match will still be the same, but I think, settled on my design. It's nothing fancy. It's nothing wild. It's not going to blow your mind, but it's different. It's new. It'll be updated. Again, not for this episode. I don't have my buttons ready yet. That's the problem right now. So it is not set up from a production standpoint, but the design is there. Regardless, good, the bad, the Barça. Coming up next, my friends. Forza Barça says, finally, we have a right back. I'm tired of that. Not going to finish that sentence. Show some respect. Please. He's not doing anything personally against you, against us, against the club. Sergio Roberto trying his best to fulfill what is being asked of him by XAVI. If you want to get upset with anybody, get upset with XAVI for not putting somebody besides Roberto at right back. Get upset with the board for running the club to where it is now, to where we have the options that we have, and Roberto is playing at right back, okay? Don't blame Roberto for doing the best he can for the club. That's what I am going to reiterate that time and time again this year. I'm tired of the hate towards Roberto. You saw it with Busquets. You saw it with Langley before he just got transferred. This year, I imagine, and Eric Garcia as well. So we got rid of a lot of the problem players, but I'd say Roberto, Lewandowski will get some heat this year. I'm sure someone like a Romeu will get some heat this year. Maybe a Christensen, now that we have some other options. There's going to be players who get heat. Respect. Okay, we can have criticism. I'm about to go into it, right? I'm about to talk. There's a whole bad box right there where I'm going to talk about what didn't go well in the match. I'm going to criticize some of these players. But have some respect, my friends. Please, por favor, have some respect. My goodness. Smiley Gaming says, why wasn't there a live yesterday? Sorry, I missed y'all. I was visiting some friends. It is a holiday here in the States, so I'm off work today. Yesterday went and had some fun with some friends, some much needed time just with some buddies, having a good time. So that takes priority sometimes, my friends. It does. So we'll miss a match here and there because I like to travel. I like to do things. But for the most part, most of the matches will be here. We'll be live. But I missed you. I appreciate you asking. Muhammad says Ferran deserved to start. Again, good argument for Ferran to be starting over Lamine Yamal. Youngster getting the time over Ferran and Raphinha. How do you think he did? Let me know. We got options now, and it's stacked. I'll say this. Hot take. Given that XAVI is leaning towards Lamine and Ferran over Raphinha, I'm actually pretty surprised that we did not entertain offers for Raphinha this summer. If Chelsea was looking at him, if somebody else in Premier League was looking at him, I think a Man United or something like that, maybe, could be making that up. If somebody was looking at Raphinha and we're going, okay, well, we got Ferran Torres, we got Lamine Yamal, we could get like 80, 90 mil for Raphinha. I'm surprised nobody was entertaining those offers. And if they were, I didn't hear about it. I'll say that. A little bit off topic there, but I'll say that. Anthony says, I don't agree with your 90% passing accuracy theory. 90% passing, and we played possession for possession's sake. It was pretty negative performance. I'm not saying that if we hit 90% passing, Barcelona is playing beautiful, attractive, entertaining football. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you see Barcelona is getting below 90% passing, we're not playing Barcelona football. It's a guarantee. It's not that if it's 90 or above, we're playing this gorgeous tiki-taka lightning fast football. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if it's below 90, something is off outside of just not being the most exciting football team in the world, which I will talk about in a moment. 90% passing, that is just the benchmark for do we have the chemistry? Are we clicking with each other? Tactics aside, right? Entertainment aside, are we doing what we're supposed to be doing in terms of keeping possession of the ball and making smart passes? That's what I mean by that, just to clarify. But I appreciate the opinion. Coffee at Dawn, what's up, dude? Says, why is XAVI forcing players to play out of position such as Gavi? I am questioning his formation right now. You raise a good point. For me, there's others as well. I will say I don't like what he's doing with Alejandro Balde right now. He's essentially leaving him alone on that left-hand side to play as a left wing back, a left mid, whatever you want to call it. There's really not any support out there. Sometimes Lewandowski drifts wide, sometimes a Gavi will drift wide, but seem a little bit lost right now. This is where I'll actually turn and share a tweet from the number one up-and-coming journalist in the football world. Going to be number one, hands down, by 2026 World Cup. Pablo Wolves Blanco. If you're not following him on Twitter, you need to do that. Get on the Pablo train here. He shares, Barcelona suffer a win to make it 10 out of 12 points to start La Liga. Again, did not play well today. Shape and attitude looks off. Could not agree more to that. And the football is regressing. Slightly worrying, but the team is still fighting. Led by MVP Koundé, late winner, 3 points. Good night, says Pablo. He's got some good points there. For me, the intensity, the pace of the match just wasn't there. It was pretty worrying. So I think there's a lot to work on. I think there's a lot of room for criticism. My question is, and this is the last question before we get into the good, the bad, the Barça. Is XAVI ball boring? He's getting results, but for me, it's not that fun to watch. There's really a lack of creativity, a lack of spark and energy and flair, as one of the announcers pointed out, to steal his words there. Is XAVI ball boring? I'm thinking back to the 2012 Barcelona, the 2013 Barcelona, just after their heyday of 2009, 10, 11, where we're still getting results, we're still doing well, but against elite clubs, we can't crack the code. A lot of possession that goes nowhere. Against lesser clubs, we'll get a couple of goals and then just hold on to the ball for endless amount of times without really doing much with it. Is XAVI ball boring? Because it feels like we're going back to that time, which was led by XAVI in the midfield. My concern right now is that although XAVI can piece together a squad with really scraps, right? We saw that last year and the year before. Can he take this club to the next level? And can he play entertaining football? Or I should say, can he influence Barcelona to play entertaining football? That is my question. How are we feeling about things? Is Xavi ball boring? That's the question of the day. We'll chat about that. And then we're going to get into the good, the bad, the Barça, my friends. Let me know your thoughts here. Mohammed says, I think Xavi still prefers Raphinha over Ferran and Yamal. It was only because of the red card that Raphinha wasn't playing. From next game, Raphinha will be starting. Maybe. So you think it's like a little extra punishment, like 2-game suspension plus you're a dum-dum, so 1 more game starting from the bench. Could be it. Could be it. Jedi Trick saying Xavi's going to be exposed in Champions League. You're talking about group stage? Because fingers crossed, hopefully we will get 6 wins out of 6. That's what I'm expecting from that. Coffee with the yawn saying it is boring. I don't want it to be, but I think overall, if I had to say binary, yes, it's boring, no, it's not boring, is not exciting. There's flashes here and there, but for the most part, pretty predictable. It's pretty slow. It's pretty dull. Hate to say it. Hate to even say it. Harry says, Xavi ball feels like Koeman ball, except with Koeman ball, we had some of the players to play it. Ghost Law says, is not boring, is frustrated. Tell me more, Ghost Loss. I want to know what you mean by that. Ahmed says, you know what is crazy? If we play this football against Porto, we are going to get 0-0, 0-0 home and away, or may even lose. Porto's the one that could play spoiler for us, I think. The other two, I think we are okay. Ahmed, circling back to his earlier comment, said, no, I think Xavi wanted to see whether Lamal can carry his momentum or not. Fair. That is going to be one thing. As I take a little hit of the coffee here. We've got options. So Xavi's going to need to decide when a player dips in form, are you going to let that player dig their way out, find their way back in, or are you going to immediately replace that player with their backup? And then maybe you end up in this cycle of back and forth where nobody's really able to hit their stride. Something to be concerned about, we'll say. But I digress. Here's what's nice, folks. Despite things not being perfect, we got the win. We got the 3 points. So let's dive in to the match awards then. The good, the bad, the Barça for Osasuna, Barcelona. Of course, we get the 2-1 win. So let's start by talking about what was good about the match, which is 3 points away from home. An opponent that we have historically not always had the cleanest matches against, not always gotten the 3 points, particularly away from home. But we did it this time, okay? Under tremendous pressure, gave up a lead in the second half, could have folded, but we didn't. A little bit of help from the referee, and we'll talk about that next, but good that we got the 3 points, okay? Above all that, so I just want to start with that. I will also point out, Gundogan, dribbling in tight space. I was very impressed with his soft touch, with his creativity. The tight space dribbling from Gundogan really stood out, particularly, I'll say, in the first half. Passing still needs a little bit of work, okay? Served in an excellent corner kick. Burps, excuse me. So Gundogan, good match. Love to see it. Lamine Yamal, I'll say, just out there getting playing time, getting the minutes under his boots, a young man getting familiar with what it's like to be a regular starter in La Liga. It's good. He's not over the top performance. Didn't do anything earth shattering. Beat his opponent a couple of times, got around the defender, created a little bit of chaos here and there. Good performance from Lamine Yamal, but the good box today goes to our new signings. You see Joao Cancelo in the box there, but he represents Joao Cancelo, Joao Felix, Inigo Martinez, getting all 3 on the pitch yesterday. All 3 getting breaking the ice, shaking off the dust. None of those 3 had gotten any minutes in preseason or otherwise up until now. So the fact that we got Cancelo, Felix, and Inigo Martinez all on the pitch, all debuted, all ready to go for the rest of the season after the international break. Good. I like it. It gets the good box here today. Now, We move on and we talk about what was bad about this match. There's a few things. One, I already mentioned. The pace, the intensity, the overall tactical approach, I'll say, not great. It's not creative. It feels stale. It feels predictable. It is slow. It's one person on the ball, one player makes a run across field, and then there's a secondary run overlapping. There's very little flick-ons. There's very few give and goes, even one-touch passing. You don't see a lot of space in counterattack opportunities. You don't see a urgency on the wings to beat the defender and open things up. It's just the spark, the creativity, the flair, the magic isn't really there right now. It's missing for me. That's not great. That's not great, we'll say. In fact, it's bad. Okay, so put that on the list for bad. Outside of that, got to call him out. Gavi's defending. I know a lot of you, including myself, get hyped and will focus on the parts where Gavi comes sliding in, Gavi comes diving in. Oh, Gavi, he's a pit bull, he's an animal. Yes, but he's also lacking composure. He's also out of control at times. He's also leaving us liable for penalties late in a match. For me, that probably should have been called, which leads me to what else was bad about that match. I know it went in our favor this time, but the consistency from the referee standpoint, get out of here. If it was reversed, okay, if Osasuna would have gotten a penalty and we would have not had our penalty called, we would have been going absolutely bananas, off the wall nuts, okay? It went in our favor this time, but there were two incidents, Gavi and Inigo Martinez, that based off of Lewandowski's penalty, those two could have been called as well. Could have easily been called. Inigo Martinez, I think, was just outside the box, but you get the point. Inconsistency from the referee. Even though it was in our favor this time, even though we got the 3 points, it's bad that it exists. What goes around comes around, okay? Refereeing karma. This time in our favor, next time maybe not so much. I want the consistency, right? That's what I want. But the bad box, I'm going to be a little harsh. I'm going to pick on him here. It goes to Ter Stegen. Not so much for his performance between the posts in terms of his shot-stopping ability. He actually had quite a few big saves to save the 3 points for Barcelona. Kept us in this when we were under pressure. But his passing out of the back is what gets him in the bad box here today. Ter Stegen, sometimes under pressure, sometimes not. Just making sloppy passes, not connecting with his back line, not really having the accuracy for the long balls, playing balls outside of the touchline when, again, not really under that much pressure. You got to do better, Ter Stegen. Like I said, picking on him a little bit, okay? The big German goalkeeper, #1 for clean sheets last year. I predict similar performances this year, but signs of a slight problem, we'll say. If that persists, it's going to be an issue. I'm calling it out now, picking on you a little bit, Ter Stegen, for your passing out of the back. You got to get in the bad box. Work your way out of that. I believe in you. I trust in you, good sir. Now, let's shake that off. Let's talk about what was Barça about the match, what represented the badge, what was true to the Barcelona DNA. Call out Romeu. I love what he's doing. Now that we've got the Joaos and we've got Vitor Roque coming in January, Romeu is a player that isn't going to be in the headlines very often, but he is doing the dirty work for Barcelona. He is doing the piece that Busquets left behind in terms of shutting down the counterattacks, in terms of being a defensive presence, and I would say maybe even a bit more so. As Busquets began to age, his ability to shut down sideline to sideline started to waver a bit. Romeu coming in with, listen, he's not a gazelle, but he's got a little bit more pace than Busquets, okay? The ability to play football in a phone box, we're not going to compare. That's Busquets' number one, okay? But Romeu, for being what he is, having the La Masia background, having the defensive, we'll say, awareness, okay? The tactical reading of the game, you got to give Romeu a shout out. Doing great things for Barcelona right now. I will also say Lewandowski finds his way towards the Barca box. Struggling right now. It seems like he is not really fitting in with the chemistry. It seems like we're not really clicking in the final third, but he's finding ways to get goals. He's finding the loose balls in the box to tap in. He's finding ways to, in a very crafty, veteran-type way, earn himself a penalty, and then has the composure to bury it. Okay, that's what you need from a forward. That's how you get the golden boot. Pretty or ugly, Lewandowski's going to get his goals, and I appreciate the effort. So be patient with Lewandowski, okay? We're working things out. A lot of it is on XAVI. That's what I'll say. All right, we'll talk about that more another time. But right now, Lewandowski, some recognition, the awareness to draw the penalty, which was pretty light, you got to admit, and then the composure to bury it. You got to give him credit. But the Barca box this time around goes to none other than Jules Koundé. Great defensive effort, filling in for Araujo. This is a tremendous opportunity for him. We now have a right back in Cancelo, who, as one would imagine, will be the consistent starter. And then it becomes Araujo, Koundé, Christensen. Will we be going with a back four, which means one of them will be sitting? Or are we going to go with a back three and maybe have wingbacks of Cancelo and Balde? Who knows? That's a conversation for another day. But Koundé knows that with Araujo out and with the signing of Cancelo, this is a big opportunity for him to establish himself in the center back position. So he does very well defensively and gets himself that headed goal off of the corner in the first half. So for his effort on both ends of the pitch, Jules Koundé gets himself the Barca box. Which leads me to the mustache man of the match. It is none other than our man, Frenkie de Jong. His efforts from box to box, he is the engine of Barcelona. He is the pivot. I know that Romeu is taking some of that defensive responsibility, but Frenkie de Jong taking the ball, passing the ball, dribbling past opponents, his leadership in terms of influencing the match, influencing the player's mentality, talking to the referee, being aware enough to get in the referee's ear, particularly during that VAR decision. The performance, the mentality, it's all there. Frenkie de Jong, the mustache man of the match for his performance against Osasuna. I'm going to pause there. I'm going to turn to the chat. I'm going to see what you think about the good, the bad, the Barca Mustache Man of the Match awards. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? What would you change? What are your awards for the match? If you're watching on replay, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know your questions if you have them. This is where I'll turn to the chat, see what everybody thinks about the good, the bad, the Barca. This week's awards. Let me know, folks. What are we thinking? What are we feeling? What did I get right? What did I get wrong? Let me scroll back up, get some reactions here. Harry says, yes, thank goodness. Gavi's defending concerns me. He reminds me of Bruno Fernandes. Yikes. Yes, Mohammed, you are right. Gavi is only 19. Plenty of room to grow. Don't worry. Barca Talk says, love the content, bro. Keep it up. Appreciate you, Barca Talk. Thanks for stopping in. Michael Talks Football. Good to see you, friend. Says, hey, John, it's been a while. Hope you are well. Yes, indeed. Hopefully you're doing well on your end. Says, I have to say, I haven't been impressed by Barca this season. You think it's more down to XAVI tactics or players not clicking yet? I'm not concerned about it yet, but I would say it is maybe 70% XAVI's tactics, 30% players getting their chemistry and understanding those tactics. But I don't love what XAVI's doing right now, Michael. I can say that. And for those of you that aren't familiar, Michael Talks Football, great channel, covers the wide world of football, has excellent coverage. Please go over, check him out when you get a chance. Friend of the channel. Growth in Progress says, I want to say Xavi needs to figure out his starting 11, review what he's doing wrong with his tactics, and improve his timing on the substitutions. That's one thing. I actually thought that his timing for substitutions in the match against Osasuna was dead on. I thought that was great. 58th, 59th minute, getting fresh legs on, getting a few other players, around the 80th minute, something like that. I thought it was actually well played. I want to give him credit for that, but there have been some some matches that he mismanaged. Could not get that one out. Holy crap. Mohammed said Koundé over Frankie. I knew that was going to be a bit controversial. I know some of you would have been shouting, no, it's got to be Koundé man of the match, the goal, the defensive performance. I get it. But for me, it's Frankie. You got to watch who's influencing the match more often. Michael Talks Football asks, how do you think Felix will fit into the starting lineup? Ooh. It really depends. Right now, Xavi seems to have two options. We can do a 4-3-3, in which case I don't know where Joao Felix fits in because he's not a left winger. And if we're doing a proper 4-3-3, a traditional Barcelona 4-3-3, we need wingers, not just inverted forwards. However, Xavi's also been going with a 4-2-3-1 formation, and he's also been going with a 3-4-2-1 formation. So when you get that, either the three, we'll say attacking mids / wingers underneath Lewandowski, or you get the two forwards like a Ferran and a Felix underneath Lewandowski. That's probably where Felix fits in. Not in the traditional 4-3-3 with the wingers, but if we're going with a 4-2-3-1, he can play on the left, he can play centrally. If we're going with a 3-4-2-1, he can play underneath on either side, left or right, underneath Lewandowski, of course. So that's where he fits in. He's going to get time. He's going to get chances because come next season, it's either we bring back Ansu and we let Joao go back to Atletico or somewhere else, or Ansu doesn't perform the way that we want to. We let him go and we work out a deal for Joao. Either way, we need to figure out if Joao's going to be a fit or not. So plenty of playing time, I would imagine, coming up for Joao. Speaking of Ansu, Jedi Trick says Ansu alone going to haunt us in Champions League. Maybe. I hope he has a fantastic season. I hope it's a breakout year. I hope he does amazing things at Brighton. I'll be tuning in. I'll be watching him. I would love to welcome him back next year. That would be great. Michael Talks Football, same feeling, says, I really hope Fati can rectify his career. Brighton was a perfect move. Exciting team. He's going to have opportunities. Obviously a competitive league. It's going to toughen him up a little bit. I don't see any downside. He was going to be fighting for playing time with Xavi going with a midfield 4 or now bringing in Felix. He was going to be fighting for playing time. So I'm okay with it. My friends. Anyway, we've talked about the good, the bad, the Barça. We've done a full match review here. Barcelona's next match is going to be coming up against Real Betis. That will be Saturday, 3 p.m. We will be live for this one. But before that, of course, we will be live on Friday covering the good, the bad, the Barça. We'll do a little match preview. We'll talk about lineups. We'll talk about predictions, all that and more. Make sure, of course, one more time, let me jump on over to barcamerch.com. Check out the latest gear on barcamerch.com. Link is pinned in the chat. If you want a discount, I got you covered. Stash Squad 10 at the checkout. That'll give you 10% off your whole order. We got tank tops. We got t-shirts. We've got sweatshirts, all the good stuff, and it keeps on going. I'll be adding stuff in periodically. There'll be updates. There'll be new designs. I'm going to do some more long sleeve stuff, some winter gear. I know summer is coming to an end. So check it out, folks. barcamerch.com. If you're looking for some Barca gear, again, Stash Squad 10 at checkout gets you 10% off. With that out of the way, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Words. I need a nap, obviously. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me, going over the Barcelona news. 3 points. We'll take it. International break coming up. Oh, I'm sorry. I said this Saturday. I'm a dum-dum. I literally just said this Saturday for the match, and it's not this Saturday, John. It's September 16th. I'm a dum-dum. Good thing I caught that. International break coming up. Enjoy the break. 16th against Real Betis. That's it. That's it. I got nothing else for you, folks. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Shout out to Michael Talks Football. Again, go over, check out his channel covering the wide world of football. Good content over there. Hopefully we can connect soon on each other's channels. Other than that, Harry, appreciate you hanging out, holding things down. My stash mod. Shout out to my other stash mods, Kyle, Kudis, Steve, Ayush. I love you all. I love you all out there in the stash squad and the Barça universe. I appreciate you very much. Until next time, my friends, Friday, wake up in Barça. I'll see you there. Go out there and do good things. All right. High fives and hugs for whoever wants them. I love you all very much. I appreciate you tuning in and taking a ride. I'll see y'all next time.